Excellent, great. Once again, I'm Maribel Lopez. I'm going to ask Neha and Nikki to introduce themselves and what their company does, and then I'll ask a couple of questions about a digital transformation story that I thought you guys might be interested in hearing. So why don't we start with you, Nikki?
Excellent. Hey everybody, my name is Nikki Barua and I'm the founder and CEO of BeyondCurious, which is a digital transformation consulting firm specifically focused on helping large companies think and act with the agility of a startup. You know, I spent 15 years of my career in the digital space helping very large global brands innovate. And one of the challenges I saw over and over again is that large companies tend to compete on their size. But what you really need for succeeding today is speed as well. You need to be innovative and you need to be really agile and adaptive. And that's really what we help our clients do as we work with major brands like Toyota, Lexus, Disney, Emerson, and so forth. And we help them get to market much faster by bringing not only unique innovation techniques, but also designing and building digital applications, whether they're enterprise focused or customer facing, and finally helping them with change management and culture shifts. So we're in the business of making elephants run.
Wow, that's a great tagline. I'm hoping the clients don't think they're elephants, though. Neha?
Hi, everybody. My name is Neha Sampat, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of a company called Built.io. And Built.io is a digital business platform or digital transformation platform. We used to believe that we were the digital transformation technology before all the analysts started calling it that. Essentially, we are a platform that comprises of 3 products. They're all SaaS products born in the cloud and focused on the enterprise. And one of them allows you to build applications very quickly. Another one helps you manage content through an API layer. And the third one is an integration platform as a service that lets you connect anything with an API to anything else with an API. So we like to think we're in the business of the Internet of APIs.
So a while ago, I had the opportunity to meet with the Miami Heat. And I think we have all noticed, if you were sports fans, that the sports fan experience is something that basically stadiums and sports teams are spending a lot of energy on creating this new dynamic, like new world experience, right? Because you have options. You could stay at home and watch a game. You could go to a stadium and watch a game. You can choose how much interaction you have with a brand. And to the point that we were just discussing earlier, the question is, how do you create the right level of engagement? How do you get your organization centered around looking at the outside and moving that into changing the processes? So when I was talking to the Miami Heat, I thought that they had a pretty interesting story, and I thought it'd be nice to share here. And it just so happens that we have 2 people that helped Miami Heat with that process to share the story. So it usually, in many cases, breaks up into strategies and a set of technologies, and then some implementation around how you get that out to the people and how do you get it out to your fans. So maybe, Nikki, we can start a little bit talking about what was the vision that Miami Heat wanted to accomplish?
Absolutely. First off, the whole business of sports and entertainment is getting massively disrupted. And as you mentioned, you know, fans today have so many choices. The biggest competition for a sports team or a sports experience is not another entertainment option or another team, but it's really a living room, because you can get this incredible experience right in your home, enjoy it with your family, and you don't have to spend $1. You don't have to wait in line to get into an arena. You don't have to go through difficult experiences. So for Miami Heat, just as it is for any of the other teams, they have a few core goals that they're all looking to solve. First off, how do you engage the fan in a way that they opt in to the experience you're looking to create? And what does that look like in terms of a personalized, frictionless experience that they make this choice to align with your brand? Secondly, what kind of things can you create at the intersection of physical and digital? All of these are spaces that, as we've heard from some of the other speakers and panelists today about, IoT is changing physical experiences, and so it presents massive opportunities to reimagine what that physical-digital intersection looks like.
How many people are doing physical and digital experiences combined in the room? Is this a big trend for a lot of people? Raise your hand. Couple? Okay. Yeah.
And thirdly, how does that fundamentally change the business model? Because what does that mean in terms of the future of revenue models, or looking at selling more season tickets to making it worthwhile for the fans? So.
Okay, so that's part of the vision. We've got several components, bridging physical and digital, moving into new business models, and convincing fans that they want to be engaged, right? Mm-hmm. All of that kind of breaks down if you don't end up having the technology to make that happen. So obviously Nikki was working with them on some of the strategy. What were some of the technical aspects that they were interested in trying to solve in this challenge?
So you go back to that whole idea of earning your opt-in, right? So if you're a sports team, you want the fans to be engaged. That's kind of the obvious bottom line. But how do you earn their engagement? How do you earn their ability to share the information that's personal to them about sort of the space that they're in and how they're interacting with that space? And that's where, if you think about the intersection of physical and digital, it could be everything from navigating to the arena, parking at the arena, ticketless entry into the arena, wayfinding to either the bathroom or the wine bar. Those things all tell you a little bit, that tells you a little bit about the person, that fan, and you start to build a profile. And for that fan to feel like they want to share that information with you to build that profile, which is all data, right? All of that data that then turns into this logic that turns into these experiences has to be earned. And so I'm a strong believer in this whole idea of an opt-in economy. And so what we work with our customers is, how do you earn that opt-in, and how do you provide enough value in the application, the mobile application, and then the overall experience associated with that to earn that opt-in. And then that drives the experience that they're looking for. And that could happen within an arena, or it could happen in the comfort of your own home.
Yeah.
Is this
and all of this,
okay.
sorry, all of this is a journey, right? Digital transformation is not something that is achieved through one project or one app or one website. It truly is a journey. You have to have a vision of what you're ultimately looking to solve, and we strongly believe that it is all about centering on the customer experience and truly being able to predict what their needs and wants are, and being able to translate that into frictionless, personalized experiences. But that journey of getting there is a process of test and learn and optimize. And so in our case, we actually started off initially focusing on their mobile app, really focusing on that fan engagement experience. And we were able to take a process that within 3 to 6 weeks, we were able to create a prototype that was then tested out in the field to see how all the strategies and ideas that we uncovered were, the response from clients, and using data to make informed decisions about what goes forward.
Yeah, I think there's, you just talked about digital transformation as a journey. We also know that digital transformation just isn't done with one company or one vendor, right? So the two of you are sitting on stage, and that begs the question, why are the two of you on stage? How does that come together in terms of partnerships, and how do you make an ecosystem for digital transformation work?
Yeah, it takes a village, for sure. There are so many components to true transformation. If you take a truly strategic and holistic view of digital transformation, it's so much more than an application here or an app, or data there. You have to take a holistic view across the entire organization, which creates its own unique challenges of the CMO organization versus the CIO organization and the org structures internally. But the same is reflected on your vendor side, because there's no one vendor, no matter how broad their capabilities or their tech stack, that can address all of the needs that you have. So you have to take a team perspective of how you plug in various capabilities and technologies and skill set, and not just look at it in terms of an ecosystem, but really think about, does your ecosystem play well? Do they collaborate effectively? Are they cohesive in terms of their values, culture, and working styles? And are they equally committed to achieving the goals of your organization? In our case, Build.io and BeyondCurious have a very deep partnership. We've been collaborating with multiple clients. And the reason for our partnership is not because just the capabilities and technologies that we brought together, it's because we felt that we have a true culture fit and a unique perspective of agile transformation that we're bringing to the market. Hence, we've had so many success stories, and our that value is ultimately translated in a 10x impact for our clients.
So if you look at what Nikki and her team bring to the table with BeyondCurious, that whole idea of agile transformation, it's sort of a package that they have the mindset, they bring the culture that helps drive that culture inside their customer base. And what we do on the flip side, sort of this yin-yang relationship, is we provide the technology platform for that. So everything is built using APIs and an API framework. So if you decide that one day you want to use an in-seat ordering vendor that's awesome and really hot and really sexy, cool, we can implement that using the technology platform and do the testing and test it out with fans, test it out with the vendors, and then you find out, hey, there's something else that's really cool we want to plug in. It's literally a plug and play architecture. So having the people side and the technology side come together is just magical.
And we saw that in real life with several of our clients, but most recently even with Miami Heat, where we were doing agile sprints of research and ideation of really cool concepts. And every 2 weeks we were able to come up with these brilliant ideas, but it wouldn't be of any value if we couldn't actually bring that to life, and Build.io's platform allowed us to very quickly bring that to life. But the flip side, their platforms are powerful, but if they work with traditional consulting teams that take months or years to bring something to life, the value remains untapped. So that integration of being able to see that collectively is really what we advise our clients to think of how you design your village and your ecosystem.
Yeah, I'm going to ask one more question, then I'm going to go to the audience to see if they have any questions. Was this a case of one thing came first, and was it, we've got these massive IT challenges that we need to resolve before we think we can build an engaging customer experience? Or was it the strategy came first, or did you feel that they both came to the table at the same time because you were presenting a joint co-market?
For Miami Heat?
For Miami Heat.
In their case, they were looking to optimize existing digital solutions that they had, that they believed that they could take it to the next level. So it did start with how do we engage the fans more effectively. But recognizing that the answer to that is not just a strategy or creative answer, it's truly bringing that entire digital stack capability to life.
Yeah, I think that's actually interesting. It's sort of the transformation within the transformation, right? So you've already bought into the first wave of transformation, but now you've got to keep pushing the ball forward.
It's continuous.
Yeah.
And it never stops. You don't want to stop innovating, otherwise you become less relevant. And these teams are actually not just competitive on the field, but they're also competitive from a technology perspective, and they want to stand out. And so they're doing everything they can, and they're using innovation and technology as a tool for that.
One of the goals that we had was how do we also create a culture of transformation such that we're building living products. It's not just an app that we build in X amount of time and launch it, and we look at the day of launch as the first day of the life of the product. And so how do you provide a platform of continuous innovation and therefore support the internal organization to be able to keep innovating and keep evolving from there.
One more question before I go to the audience. And this is around metrics, because I think metrics are sort of near and dear to our heart. When they were thinking of this transformation, did they have some idea of how they would measure it, or what their key KPIs were around this?
Yes, they had some short-term KPIs and long-term KPIs both defined. Some long-term KPIs were around loyalty and share of wallet. The short-term ones were improving the operational spend and the support of that, because it has a massive back-of-the-house effect as well when you provide a more frictionless experience to the fans.
From the technology side, what do you think was the opportunity for Miami Heat in terms of, they already had digital platform that they were working on. Was there something specific that they said, we're really missing this, and this can help us with that?
I think they really just recognized the innovation, and we had worked with other teams. They saw what we were bringing to the table there. And they recognized that they wanted to be able to try a lot of things and try out what the fans actually liked and engaged with. And we were able to provide the platform that allowed them to do that. And from a KPI perspective, again, going back to the opt-in economy, one of the KPIs is also how do I get someone to convert from an anonymous user to a known user? And that's something that not just the Miami Heat, but all teams are thinking about when they're trying to increase their fan engagement.
Absolutely. Any questions from the audience? I can't. Phil has a mic. If anybody has any questions, then I see him running to somebody, which I can't see. Okay, one in the back.
Mr. Stein.
Hello. Oh, there we go. Good presentation. Thank you very much. I'm curious about areas of unexpected customer engagement or user experience that you may have encountered when you were rolling out these applications, and what people in the audience can learn from what areas of engagement or user experience that maybe they should be thinking about when it comes to any kind of disruption or digital experience.
That's a great question. I won't share specifically about Miami Heat because some of these things are not public yet, but I can share broadly that holds true for every brand that we're helping with this transformation is you have to be the one to make the hard choices on behalf of your customers. And what I mean by that is over the years, there's been this desire to throw everything in the kitchen sink of feature functions at your digital application, whether it's a website or an app. We even when the navigation seems clean, all it is it's a clean way of throwing a whole bunch of stuff at it. But that doesn't take away the fact that it's our job as the experts to be able to discern exactly what is the right experience, that is the predictive experience for your customers, and be able to make that choice, because that is true personalization. When you're able to take away all the unnecessary options and the navigation and all of that. So a lot of what we're seeing and what we're focused on is absolute simplicity, where you're not leaving them with too many choices. And this is particularly true in enterprise applications. A lot of the work we do on the enterprise application side is it's almost, there's a consumerization of enterprise applications that's happening where, because of the change in the workforce, there are more millennials in the workforce, and they're used to a certain expectation of user experience. They're not willing to settle for enterprise apps just being a laundry list of 200 menu items and go navigating through all kinds of cumbersome pages and layouts. And so you have to get ahead of that and recognize that there is massive opportunity to increase the effectiveness of your workforce, to engage consumers in a whole different way. And really all it comes down to is making the hard decisions. Don't push off the hard decisions to the customer.
So one thing I'd add to that is, if you think about when enterprises are thinking about digital transformation or just a project within digital transformation, they start with something and then it grows and then it grows and then they have to get approval from 17,000 committees, and so it never goes anywhere, right? And budgets get halted, and so you never make any progress. And what I've seen and what we typically advise in enterprise organizations is start with something, let it be something small, but let it be a small win as a proof of concept, and then let that be the thing that you take to the boards and to the committees and to and show those small wins so you can actually get somewhere. Because otherwise, as we all know, it's really difficult to navigate new change in the enterprise and kind of introducing that to a culture that's not used to it.
So we have about a minute left, and I thought we might wrap up since everyone's here to learn. Could you share one or two pieces of advice for the audience as they go forth trying to make their own enterprise transformation happen? Maybe we can start with you, Neha.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would go back to what I just said, which is pick something that you think will be a win for you in your career, make you look good with your colleagues, your friends, your bosses, and help your teams to accomplish something. And then don't bite off more than you can chew. Start with that and pick a team, whether it's someone like us or someone that you work with now, to help you get through that. And then use that as a catalyst to take you to the next level.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more on the idea of test and learn approach and mindset throughout. Being in the business of innovation and helping large companies transform both internally and for their customers, there's one thing that we've found is really pivotal in being successful in both the short term and the long haul. And that comes down to to embracing diversity. And what I mean by that is we live in a multicultural world that isn't just diverse in terms of different perspectives and people, but also different types of challenges. And there's been numerous instances where the wrong kind of experiences or products have been developed just because the application team or the digital team did not have the right representation. Diversity and innovation sort of require the same basic principles. You have to be open to new ideas. You have to be open to new ways of thinking and doing and new kinds of people. So when you learn to embrace otherness in people, you also embrace otherness in innovation. And that's where the best ideas come from. So we are strong proponents of organizing and designing diverse teams within client organizations. So we help them shape the right kind of teams, but we also mirror that ourselves. So I'd highly encourage, think about the cultural impact, because that's where true innovation and lasting imprint comes from.
Yeah, we've seen this when people do strategy sessions. If you have mixed roles, and as an example of diversity, you give different opinions on what's important, how things could change, and just different insights of how people might be using technology or services. So there are many different types of diversity, so think of that as you move forward. So, and hopefully you'll have a wonderful digital transformation journey. I'd like to thank our power panel here for being with us today. You'll both be here for the rest of the event. So if you have any questions about some of the transformations that they've been working on, please feel free to look them up at a cocktail hour or in a meeting room.